Welcome to Timeout for 3D Training. I'm Tim Morton, and this is session 2. What is your motivation? The source of our content today is from the 3D Coach book by Jeff Duke, Chapter 7, Getting the Stuff, and Chapter 8, Open Heart Policy. So here's the problem. Positive rewards like scholarships, playing time, trophies, and other awards are the common strategies that coaches sometimes use to motivate athletes. This is what we refer to as extrinsic motivation. Sometimes it can manifest in negative forms, such as the threat of punishment or coercion. Extrinsic motivation results in players thinking that when they perform well, they should get something in return. Also, they believe that external rewards are the primary goal, and they begin to base their identity on their performance. So here's the solution. Create an environment where players are intrinsically motivated. Intrinsic motivation is produced from within the individual and is driven by an interest in or enjoyment of the sport itself. This is done through the building of relationships. So how do you build relationships? It may seem radical at first, but doing something as simple as visiting each player in their home can change the motivation of an entire team. If you decide to try this with your program, make sure you first get the permission from the athletic director or principal before you proceed. There's no perfect formula here. You don't have to be a psychologist. You don't have to fix your players' problems. You just must show them you care. It's not about having a depth of knowledge. It's as simple as genuinely stepping into the lives of your players. Coaches, this strategy can be a game changer for you, but I think it's important to go even deeper and discover what it looks like to foster intrinsic motivation within the greater context of your sport, both on the practice field and on the field of play. I wanted to close by sharing my own personal experience with using this strategy. In my last few years of coaching, it gave me some incredible insight into what my players were going through at home and enabled me to step into their lives and created some opportunity to foster intrinsic motivation. I'd laid the foundation for this meeting at the parent meeting. I had 3 requirements. I wanted to limit the meeting to 30 minutes or less. I wanted to value their time. I also wanted to make sure that I completed this meeting before the first game of the season. Also, I wanted the player to have some involvement in the setting up of this meeting. So I'd have the player communicate with the parents, give them the time frame in which I wanted the meeting to take place. They would set it up and then communicate that back to me. At the meeting, I would try to accomplish 3 things. Number 1, I wanted the parents to understand how much I appreciated the opportunity to coach their son and how excited I was to see the growth in them, not just as players, but as people as well. I'd also have an opportunity to share briefly a little bit about my story of who I am personally and why I actually coach. And finally, I would conclude with asking them for their help. The best thing that they could do for me was to love their son no matter what his performance was on a day-to-day basis.